Welcome back to Season 2 of the Discount Property Investor Podcast. Our mission is to share with you what we have learned from our experience and the experience of others to help you make more money investing like a pro. We want to teach you how to create wealth by investing in real estate the Discount Property Investor way. Make sure you never miss an episode and download the Discount Property Investor app in Google Play or iTunes today. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey guys, this is David Dodge at the Discount Property Investor Podcast. Sitting here with my co-host, Mike Slane. Hey, Mike.
Hey, Dave. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. I'm actually doing really, really good. Got my workout in, feeling good. Bought a house this morning.
Nice.
Yeah, another rental for our portfolio. It's going to be awesome.
Yes, sir.
So today, guys, we are joined by a special guest, Mike Banks. And Mike Banks is with Fund and Grow, and he's here to tell us some really, really interesting techniques on how we can use leverage in our business to acquire real estate in terms of rentals, maybe do some wholesale, some fix and flips. And it's very, very interesting. So I'm really happy to have Mike on the show today. Mike, tell us a little bit about Fund and Grow, and also tell us a little bit about, how long you've been doing this and how you've helped some people. This is a really neat service that you guys have.
Definitely. Thank you guys for having me. So Fund and Grow has been around for over 10 years. And essentially what we do is set up business credit lines for real estate investors, wholesalers, flippers, landlords. And you can use those business credit lines to either purchase properties as a cash buyer, or you can use them to just cover expenses, rehab costs, direct mail marketing. I know personally for me, I got into wholesaling about 2 years ago, and things really started to stick for me when I was really had that confidence to spend a little bit more money on the business, spend a little bit more money on direct mail and all that. So Fund and Grow, like I said, as a provider, we set up the credit lines for you. So when you go to our link in the description to pre-qualify, we're going to go over all of that with you on the phone. We're going to let you guys know exactly what you pre-qualified for in the next 2 weeks. Most people get between $40,000 to $80,000 in the first 2 weeks. And then over the 12-month membership, we actually will apply 3 times for our clients. And like I said, we do all the work. We're a done-for-you service. And so, like I said, in the first 2 weeks, people get funding in their hands. And we also set up an entity. If you don't have an entity yet, that's included in our program. But really just the idea of using business credit, that's something that we really talk a lot about. We do all the work for you guys, but using business credit is smart because your balances that you're carrying won't count against your personal scores. So everything on the business credit side, it doesn't show up on your personal report. So even if you've got millions of dollars in private money, it still makes sense to use business credit because, for one, most of us are using credit cards to begin with. And for two, you're going to earn rewards points, free cash back. So even if you've got private money available, having access to business credit is nice because you can do deals out of your own pocket, and you're earning rewards points as you're spending money on your business.
I love it. Hey, Mike, do me a favor. Let's back up and slow down for some of the people that don't understand what and why, okay? So first, why would somebody want to use business line of credit in this sense? And then why?
Mm-hmm. Well, for one, like I said, it doesn't show up. Business credit lines, if you apply the right way, it doesn't show up on your personal report. So that's a really attractive thing. The balances that you're carrying on these business credit lines, it's not going to bring your personal scores down. I'm sure a lot of people have seen that before. If you have a high balance, it brings your scores down. With business credit, that's not going to happen. So that's a big why use business credit. And then also, we need funding. A lot of people aren't going to take those leaps to either start a business or to grow their business, to spend that money on marketing, if you feel like you have to come out of pocket for everything, if you feel like you've got to use your personal credit. So that's another reason why business credit is an attractive thing to someone who's starting or growing a business. It's funding. It's money you can use to either buy properties, fix them up, or pay for marketing, whatever it is that you need in your business. So I'm sure most people watching could agree that that's a pretty important thing.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's actually really awesome.
That's a great explanation.
One of the challenges I think a lot of our newer students have is that they don't have enough money to put out as much marketing as they want. They'll get started and maybe they form the LLC, maybe not. And I heard, Mike, you even mentioned that you'll help them form an LLC if they don't have one already.
Which is awesome.
That's awesome.
Very cool.
So again, that's one thing taken care of off their have to figure out list. And then having the money to maybe sink some into marketing to get that first wholesale deal. Pretty neat. So you said, Mike, you said as little as 2 to 4 weeks, you get them 20 to 40,000. Could you
40 to 80,000.
40 to 80,000. That's unbelievable.
Yeah, the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Some people get more than that. We've had some people that received 150,000 in that first round of funding.
Wow.
But most common between 40 to 80.
So what would be the requirements? So like, let's say that I'm interested and, I have a lot of lenders in place already. But, even if I personally wanted to go, sign up for this, what would you guys need from me? How does it look? What would I have to, come up with in terms of paperwork and what I need to provide?
Right. So really it's just about credit. Everything that we apply for is credit based. So it's not something that we're going to need a bunch of financials, tax returns. We don't need that. We don't need any collateral. There's no asset tied to the loan. It's unsecured. It's really credit based. So as long as you're about a 680 and up, 680 score, you're pretty much good to go. I mean, ideally 730 and up, but there's a lot of people in that 680 range who have really strong credit, but let's say their balances are high this month, so their scores drop below 700. So that's pretty much what we're looking for. Good credit history, not a bunch of negatives, and we don't want you to be maxed out. Ideally 35% of your credit cards to your limits should be utilized. So 35% debt to credit. Just basic things like that, we don't want a bunch of brand new credit cards on your report right now, because if we go and apply for more business credit cards, it's going to look like you're overextending yourself. So decent credit, that's all we need.
Okay, very cool.
Cool. So decent credit. And I want to reiterate, though, you said that we're working with our personal credit score, right? But these are not necessarily using or going to be held against our personal credit.
Yeah.
Is that right?
So basically the bank looks at your personal credit, but the business credit that they approve you with will not show up on your personal credit. So they do look at it. And I got to be honest, like pretty much every loan, any credit line that you go after, that's the case. They're going to look at your personal credit. And so technically that's personally guaranteed, but with like a hard money loan, it's not really going so much off your personal credit, right? It's more about the deal, but they still do a lot of times look at your personal credit. So with business credit lines, it's credit based, personally guaranteed technically, but it doesn't show up on your personal report, and there's no asset tied to it. It's unsecured.
Yeah, that's great. And then, so if there was an issue, and again, we're hoping that people use the credit responsibly. Again, you've got people with decent credit scores rather, they're getting started. Does that get reported back to your personal credit though? If there was ever an issue with the business lines, like a late payment or something, or how does that work?
Yeah, personal guarantee essentially.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm asking though, because it's in the business name,
right?
No, you're 100% right. That's the catch. If you screw up and don't pay them back, just like any other credit card, we all know what happens. It turns into a late payment, and then it'll end up being like a charged off account. And so that's the route. But with business credit, you have like a 90-day grace period. So it doesn't automatically go against your personal credit. They'll contact you and be like, hey, what's going on? You can make your payment. But then if that continues after 3 months, then it'll come back as a negative on your personal credit. So you shouldn't just borrow.
Pay your bills, guys.
But that's pretty cool. At least there's
always going to be a repercussion.
Yeah, well, I'm not trying to skirt it. I'm just saying, I was just curious. And it's good to know that there is more of a grace period with the business line or the business side as well.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, very cool.
Oh, no, that's totally good questions. Like, people need to know that kind of stuff. Like, don't do this kind of thing unless you have some kind of sound return coming down the line. You know what you're doing. You're going to spend $2,000, $3,000, $10,000 on marketing because you're going to get leads that you're going to call and convert.
Absolutely. Yeah. don't be applying for the business credit with expectation that it's free money.
Yeah.
You are
Mike,
paying this back.
tell me some
Buy
examples
TVs
of
with it.
Yeah,
Right.
do you mind telling us some examples of how some of your current clients and customers are utilizing this, and then maybe tell us a little bit about how some people have used it to be successful. And I'm sure in the 8 years that you've been in business, you had people do the wrong thing with this money. So maybe tell us what not to do as well. I think that would really be helpful.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, well, I got a lot of clients sending in reviews. If you Google Fund and Grow on Google, you'll see 744 reviews right now with a 4.9 star rating. So we have like tons of clients that go and post about what happened after they went through our program. But we've got a review that just came in the other day. They started an Airbnb rental business. I've got tons of video reviews of clients who are using the money for fix and flips. That I got a guy standing in front of one of his properties that he's renovated and listed. I've got another client who is a college student that bought his first 2 rental properties using business credit lines through one of our affiliates who sells turnkey rentals. And he's already rehabbed them, placed a tenant. It's cash flowing now, and he's refinancing out of the credit line that he initially purchased with as a cash buyer. Because you could send wire transfers from the credit line to the closing company. I don't know if I mentioned that yet, but you could literally do that. So you can become the cash buyer. And we're not talking like $300,000 deals, ideally around $100,000 or less.
Right.
Close on those deals pretty easily. And you don't have to go and chase down a hard money lender, which if you're new, in some cases, it's hard to get a hard money lender because they want to see a track record and some reputation and other deals that you've done. When in this case, you can do some deals that maybe a hard money lender wouldn't have even taken because there's not enough meat on the bone.
What about this? This is a perfect example. What about a buddy of mine who has a deal with a hard money lender already, and he is not getting along with that lender, and that lender isn't releasing funds, and he needs about $50,000 to finish the project? This would be a great
that's perfect,
right?
100%. Yeah, it's sometimes you don't want to ask the private lender for the full amount, maybe,
or you just want to pay him off after get a project complete and just pay him off.
Right. So you have to keep paying interest because you're going to get zero interest on everything that we apply for. It comes with zero interest for an average of 12 months.
Nice. So then what are those? Now I get it. These are credit cards. What do those rates typically settle out at after year 2 and year 3? Is it like 12 to 18%, or are we
Exactly.
talking 4%?
Exactly right. 12 to 18% is usually where we see people landing.
It's all about speed. And I've learned that, I will happily pay, 10 or 12% on money for long term. But if I need to borrow some money real quick for like a week or two, there's been times where I paid 20, 25%, just because it doesn't matter. I'm going to be making 15 times that.
Mm-hmm.
I just need the cash now. So this is a great tool, guys. If you're listening to this podcast or you're watching this on YouTube, this is definitely a really good tool that I don't want you to discount. It's very, very cool. So you got an offer for all of our listeners and viewers. Mike, I'm going to let you explain that. But guys, if you want to check out more about this, go to discountpropertyinvestor.com/fund and grow, FUNDANDGROW. And there'll be all types of information on there, as well as how you can reach Mike. So Mike, tell us a little bit about, how somebody would be able to get signed up and work with you, and so on and so forth.
Yeah, definitely. So if you go to that link, you'll be able to register right there, and we'll have somebody give you a call and go over everything with you. We'll ask you a couple questions about your credit. That way we can pre-qualify you and say, look, here's what you're qualifying for right now. In the next 2 weeks, you qualify for 40 to 50,000. And then at that point, the clients will make their decision whether they want to move forward or not. Now, there is a $500 discount that we've got set up for everyone who goes through the link in the description.
Sweet.
So you get
Great.
Yeah,
So
you
guys,
get a
I
$5
gotta
discount.
interrupt. If you're listening or you're watching this, Mike's going to give you a $500 discount. So this is awesome. Mike and I aren't benefiting from this. You guys are benefiting from this. So check this out. One more time, Mike. discountpropertyinvestor.com/fund and grow, all spelled out. So Mike, go right ahead, man. I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good. So yeah, you're going to pre-qualify basically. Once you go to that link, you'll get some more info and we'll give you a call. We'll go over everything with you. And also we'll give you like a action plan after the call. You'll know what to do in order to qualify, or you'll know, hey, I qualify for 50,000. It's just a matter of moving forward and getting my $500 discount. And then once that happens, we move you forward. We get you signed up as a client, and we do have payment plans as well. But you'll see more of that once you go to the link. And from there, we'll move you forward, and you could have funding in your hands within the first 2 weeks of signing up with us. And over the 12-month membership, you're going to get up to $250,000, in some cases more than that, because we apply multiple times over the 12-month membership.
That's awesome. They create the entity for you. They manage the application process. They help you get money. They help you get money at 0% interest, which can vary, of course, by each individual card. But Mike's saying that it averages about 12 months. And then you can also wire money from these individual accounts or cards to title companies, so you don't need to necessarily like get appraisals or inspections or deal with all the contractual BS that you would with your typical lender or private money lender.
Yeah, and one thing it's awesome. One thing I wanted to point out that Mike does, he said, if you go through the process and it doesn't shape out perfectly, he said they're going to help you. They're going to tell you what you need to do
credit repair consulting
to get to the point where you're going to get more credit availability or improve your credit.
That's pretty cool.
That's something we really harp on too with people that are getting into the real estate business, is to keep your credit up. It's a very important tool to have in your tool belt. So Mike being able to help guys with that as well is very cool.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Yeah. Hey, Mike, thank you so much for coming on the show. Again, guys, check out more about Mike at with Fund and Grow at discountpropertyinvestor.com/fund and grow, all spelled out. Very, very cool way for you to get, $40,000 to $80,000 in just the first few weeks. They're going to help you set up an entity, like I said, and this is a business line of credit, so it's not going to be directly tied to your personal line of credit. It's not going to show up on that report, correct, Mike?
Right. It's not going to show up, but they will.
They're going to pull it, right? But it's not going to be on there. Well, that's great. I love that. Yep. Don't forget, guys, there's a couple awesome perks here that Mike briefly mentioned, but I want to reiterate. You can get free travel from these cards. You can get cash back, and it's interest-free for up to 1 year. So, essentially, if you use these responsibly, you could get yourself multiple vacations or multiple tens of thousands of dollars even in terms of cash back, which is really, really awesome.
Not to mention the ability to get into real estate, which is what hopefully our listeners are trying to do.
Exactly, Mike. Love it.
Just bust down one of those barriers to entry sometime, which is some of that marketing capital or down payment.
How can I make an offer without a proof of funds letter?
It happened for me personally. I wholesaled my first 5 deals because I had that extra confidence to, push.
So I was going to say, you got proof of funds.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then I ended up buying the last deal. I haven't wholesaled the deal in a few months, but.
Sure. Hey, Mike, that's awesome. Hey, Mike, thanks again for coming on the show. We really appreciate having you. Guys, once again, discountpropertyinvestor.com/fund and grow. And then I'm going to finish out by saying, if you haven't checked out the free wholesale course yet, check it out. We're going to harp on it in every episode because it's so powerful. It's free, and everything you need to learn, everything you need to know to learn how to wholesale, it's in the course. Companion book, The Ultimate Guide to Wholesaling Real Estate, available on Amazon. We've been getting tons of positive feedback about it. Nice. It's everything you need to know, again, about wholesaling real estate. All right, guys, we'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.
Thanks for listening to the Discount Property Investor Podcast. If you enjoyed this episode, please like, share, and subscribe to help us reach a wider audience. To jumpstart your real estate investing career, please visit freewholesalecourse.com, the most complete free course on wholesaling real estate ever. We would also appreciate it if you left us a review on iTunes or Stitcher. Thank you in advance for your support, and remember, you make your money when you buy, and you get paid when you sell. Now let's go build some wealth.